I'm Wardy from Gnaufklins. Welcome to another video Q&A with Gnaufklins.com. I'm really happy today to answer a simple question about making kefir. You may say kefir or kefir. We're talking about dairy kefir. And the question is, how do you get thicker kefir? Well, there's really two ways to get thicker kefir. The first one is to let it ferment longer. As you culture dairy or ferment dairy, over time, the beneficial organisms produce acids, and the acids curdle or thicken the milk. So the longer you let that process go, the thicker your result. Now eventually it will get to curds and whey. We want to stop kefir somewhere between getting to curds and whey and being thin milk. And there's a whole range of thicknesses in there, and it really depends on how long you ferment. Most people ferment their kefir about 24 hours, and it's like a thin, drinkable yogurt. My preference is to ferment kefir for 2 days. Now, hot summer temperatures will make it go faster. So what I'm trying to say is 2 days in winter is different than 2 days in summer because warmer temperatures make the processes go faster. So take this all with a grain of salt for your locale. But basically, in summer I'm doing about 18 hours, and in winter I'm doing 2 days, 48 hours, sometimes even to 2.5 days. And then in the winter, I also add another day of fermentation without the mother culture. Now when you're making kefir, you've got a clump of grains, that's the mother culture. You put it in the milk, let it ferment, pull the grain out, and you put it in a new batch of milk to make more kefir. That's the beauty of kefir, and that's why I prefer it so much to making yogurt, because it is so easy. There's no incubation, it's all done at room temperature, and you just have a grain to remove from one to the next to the next. So it's really easy. So what I do, at least in the winter, because the temperatures, room temperature is low enough that makes this happen without detrimental results, is I will ferment my kefir for 2 to 2.5 days. It gets nice and thick. I'll show you that in a moment. I remove the grain and start a new batch. This jar I cover with a tight lid. Prior to this, it just had a loose cloth on it. Cover it with a tight lid, and I leave it out at room temperature. It's still got microscopic organisms in there. It may not have the mother culture, but there are probiotics in here, and they will continue to work. And so the kefir gets thicker for another day at room temperature. It builds up carbonation. It also develops a strong flavor, but it just gets it really nice and thick, and that's really how we like it. I'm going to show you now how nice and thick this method is. Now I've got cream here for about 1 inch. So I'm going to dig down to a little bit deeper than that to show you how nice and thick the kefir is. I'm going to have to peel back the cream here. See, there is my nice thick kefir. I mean, it sits up on the spoon. It is so nice and thick. It is like a spoonable yogurt. This has been in the refrigerator, so it does set up more after it's chilled. But there's that kefir. Now, the reason a lot of people don't like to do this with their kefir, let it ferment so long, is because, yes, it gets thicker, but it also gets stronger in flavor. And for kefir, that means sour. It also means slightly more alcohol production. So the alternative to keep a milder tasting kefir that is still thick and spoonable is to do your fermentation, your primary fermentation when the grain's in here, for about 1 day, or in the summer, 12 hours to 18 hours. Then you have this thinner, kind of drinkable yogurt consistency, and what you do then is you drip it through cheesecloth. Now, don't do it through a real holy cheesecloth because your kefir will drain right through. You either need like a pillowcase weight cotton cloth, or you need a couple layers of 90 count cheesecloth. And if you do that for just a few hours, or until enough whey has dripped out that you get a nice consistency, then you will have kind of a runny kefir cheese, thicker kefir. So those are your two options for making thicker kefir. Try them. Let me know what you think.